Well, that sucked. Welcome into the TexAgs post-game wrap where Texas A&M falls to Texas 27-17 to finish the regular season 11-1. This is brought to you by TKO Equipment, your Aggie-owned and operated Texas construction and aggregate equipment dealer. Founded 47 years ago by the Smith family, Aggie classes of 60, 67, 69, and 73, and continuing today with classes of 73, 98, 12, actively involved. Headquartered in DFW with a fully stocked branch office in New Braunfels, TKO proudly serves all of Texas and has the equipment and expertise and passion for service to keep your job up and running. TKO is also your exclusive screen machine dealer. Give them a call today for your earth moving or aggregate equipment needs by simply visiting tkequipment.com. This game was the opposite of what we've seen. The second half adjustments went the way of Texas. A&M actually finished the first half on a high 10-3, but it was Sark in total yards, and that went to Texas 178. We begin our conversation with our roundtable discussion. Brandon Leone, Chris Harrington, and CT Chris Taylor. And CT, we'll start with you. That second half, man, it was like nothing A&M could do offensively would work, and it seemed like Sark had figured it out. Some wrinkles in the A&M defense. They were able to run the ball effectively while they.
Yeah, it was a tale of two halves, to be honest with you. And
there it is.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Yeah, it was a tale of two halves, with this game, and where we're so used to seeing A&M go in and make second half adjustments. I just don't feel like we made those. I thought we got bullied at the line of scrimmage in the second half, from on both sides of the ball. And when you're looking at that game from last year, and it had a feel like it from last year, running up the middle, not being effective, and that secondary of Texas, I think it has been the Achilles heel for that team all season. And for us not to take advantage with the guys that we have on the outside, the skill set that we have with the guys on the outside, it definitely was frustrating. That was not the team that we've seen all season. That's not the team that we've known that's gone in and made second half adjustments. And the frustrating part is, we didn't get it done against Texas, the team that's the one you circle at the start of the season. So frustrating night for sure. Definitely not happy about it. But I guess the positive is we still have everything in front of us, and now it's time to focus on what we're going to do in the playoffs, figure out who we're going to play, bounce back, watch the tape, flush it, and try to shore up and clean up a lot of the things that we did not do well tonight.
I fixed a little bit of my internet issues. I know I'm a little bit delayed here. Chris Harrington, your thoughts on how it played out in the second half?
Yeah, definitely disappointing. Missed opportunity. Just lack of explosive plays, and Marcel trying to force some things. And it's not very often that you lose a turnover battle and win the game. I think that's the story of the game. Is we're in position and driving, and turn the ball over, trying to force something, make something happen. And it was a strange night. Was not the dynamic offense that we've seen, and it was a close game. I think it came down to turnovers, really.
Brandon, tough one to swallow. It felt at the half like A&M was going to be able to get the ball in the second half and get maybe a 2-touchdown lead, but they were 3 and out, and it was just rough after that.
Yeah, I think it is disappointing, and it's wild to be, or to at least feel as disappointed as I do after an 11-1 season, with an opportunity to potentially host a home playoff game. But that's the beauty of sports, is you just have such a hate for your rivals, and you want to see your team excel in those moments. I think the thing that was disappointing, I'm weird about sports, man. Like I moved from downstairs to upstairs in the second half. Like I always have these weird things I do. And I was watching the game with my brother, and ESPN showed the stat: A&M's 15-0 when leading at half under Elko. He read me a stat from Vegas because he likes to bet that whatever the odds were super high that we win the game. And then he said, Ryan Wingo only has one catch. I'm like, quit telling me all these positive things, dude. Like, wait to talk about that stuff till the end of the game. But, here's the reality. It sucks. I hate to say it, but you got to give credit to that football team. It's 2 years in a row that they absolutely gut punched our program. We had so much on the line. Marcel probably won't get invited to New York at this point after tonight. That's disappointing because he's had a heck of a season. You could have been 12-0 for the first time in a long time, and you could have played for an SEC championship. All those things suck when it's taken away by the team that you dislike the most. But the reality is, on the flip side, is this team needs to get healthy. They need to get focused up. I don't think they've been at their best in the last few weeks, and they still have an opportunity to go after the main thing. And so, although I know there were some goals of theirs that they missed tonight, we're all pissed off. I'm pissed off. I think we need to continue to rally around them and see how they can bounce back here in a few weeks, hopefully in College Station.
Chris, I want to go back to you, Harrington, about the what happened with Wisner. Like, I think it's a theme that we've seen all season long, right? When I was doing my pregame notes and telling folks from the other side what I thought Texas's recipe to win would be those explosive plays. And that's exactly what you saw from Wisner in the second half. What was it, a 48-yard, really, the first play of the second half for them to get going?
Yeah, just lack of gap integrity. You've got a slanting defensive tackle, slides over two gaps. You got two guys in the same gap and no one in the gap that he hit. So just discipline. I mean, we know those guys know better than that, but you catch a, defensive tackle slanting and get him out of the gap he's supposed to be in. So we've seen those explosive plays, pop up throughout the season, and it's just a lack of gap integrity. So disappointed to see that, the TV broadcasters kept talking how Texas hasn't, rushed over 100 yards this season, and to have them do it on us is a little frustrating.
CT, the part that I found interesting was the first half, it felt like A&M was doing a better job of commanding the line of scrimmage. I feel like that wasn't the case in the second half. What was your point of view there?
No, you're absolutely right. I thought the first half we got after Arch. We made him uncomfortable. He was missing throws. We were hitting him, and I don't know what the game plan was in the second half. I thought we were a little vanilla, or actually we were a lot vanilla on offense. And then defensively, Wisner he just took us off the. He ran crazy against us. So I just thought second half, we're going to call a spade a spade. They were more physical at the point of attack. I think they pushed us around on the offensive line, and we didn't have an answer for 5. And, you saw him. He's had 2 huge games against us the last 2 years, over 160 yards last year, over 150 yards again this year. And then Arch, I think he played his best game of the season, tonight. And like Brandon said, you've got to give these guys credit. They showed up and they played at the biggest moment because they still have a season to play for too. But with everything in front of us, 11-0, have a chance to go 12-0, get ourselves into the SEC championship game, I thought we'd have a little bit more intensity the second half. And it just looked like a team that sleepwalked through the second half. We got pushed around, and we didn't play well as a team. I thought we got out coached and we got out physical, and so like Brandon said, we've got to get healthy. We've got to get some guys back, get some guys healthy, and get ready to make this playoff run. Season's not over. We still have a lot to play for, and just want to remind Aggie fans of that. Yes, this one sucks. I hate Texas more than the next person, but there's so much left to play for. These guys have battled all season. They've put themselves in a position to even be in the national championship conversation. Now we've got to go back one game at a time, got to go 1-0 and watch this tape, learn from it, and get better for whoever we play in the playoffs.
Brandon, I forget how Coach Oko phrased it, but he was asked like if this is something he's concerned about what we saw today, and his response was, sometimes you don't want to look at things in a vacuum, right, and just see one isolated event and kind of apply it for the whole season. He said it a lot more eloquently than I just did. But There were some themes in this game of things we've seen, right? And some of those were those big runs and the penalties. And sometimes Marcel not taking a run opportunity when it was there. Because I think in the first half, he did have some yards ahead of him he didn't go after. He was more in the pocket. So did you see anything from this game that kind of gives you bigger concerns as you move to the playoffs? Or, hey, credit to Texas. They had a great game plan. They played at home, and they dominated the offensive line and defensive line at the end.
Yeah, Nuno, I think it's a mixture of both. I think in the first 3 games of the season, some of the things that we talked about heading in, well, first 2, some of the things that concerned me early on were a number of penalties, not setting the edge on the outside, letting people get outside of us when running the football, and then our special teams play. Obviously we got down there, Marcel rolled his ankle, we get conservative with the backup, run it, we have a field goal blocked. That should have been points for us. Marcel didn't get hurt, and we don't have a terrible kicking game. Maybe that looks better for us. But yeah, I think there were some concerning things. I think, if you think about our last 2 SEC football games, we've had 2 really concerning halves. First half against South Carolina, second half against Texas. So to me, I think there are some concerning things. What's concerning to me the most is the fact that in 2 games against these guys, since they've been in our conference, we've been outcoached and outplayed. Ultimately, I felt like not only were we vanilla on offense, I feel like we were vanilla on defense. And I know Arch, hey, listen, that dude has improved a ton. You cannot take anything away from 16. He's big, he's strong, he makes good throws. But every single time we brought pressure and kept more on him than 4, he struggled. And I felt like we were pretty vanilla on defense tonight. So I don't know if we were conservative, if we were nervous. We played scared and not to mess up, I feel like. And that's not how you win football games. So, yeah, some of those things are concerning. But the good news is, on the flip side of this, is you get 3 weeks, 2 weeks, however long it is, to clean it up, hopefully get some guys back in the roster. And if these guys thought they were going to be pissed after South Carolina, I know they got to be pissed tonight. This one hurts. I mean, they took a lot from us tonight. That's a big L.
I recognize that my internet is not great here, so we're probably going to keep this one short tonight, guys, and the game sucked, right? So I want to ask this question, and we all go around and just kind of think about it. So A&M is probably not going to get a first-round bye in the playoffs, right? At this point, you think they're going to drop out of the top 4. Hopefully they get the 5 seed, but we don't know what that's going to look like. So now that we shift our attention to probably a mid-December home playoff game, we hope, what's got to change, and what can we build on? We'll start it off with Chris Harrington.
Yeah, I think we got to get back to the basics. I think we got to establish the run game early. Don't abandon it so quick. Having the 12th man at Kyle Field, that's a big element, in our game. And, the defense really feeds off that. So being more aggressive on defense, establishing the run, and then Marcel, making plays with his feet when he needs to, but, don't try to force things. I think that's key. So I'm confident. We get a home game. The best version of this team's going to show up.
CT?
I think you get back to the basics. You get back to blocking. You get back to tackling. You clean up the penalties. You've got to clean up special teams because, get a field goal block tonight. Could have had a punt block tonight. It's just those things are they're going to come back and they're going to be your Achilles heel. So you get back to the basics. I think you have to have physical practices as you're leading up to your next opponent, because I think we've got to get that edge and that focus back. I'm not sure what happened as we sleptwalk through the first half of South Carolina. It looked like we sleptwalk through the second half of the Texas game. There's a disconnect there. And it's that lack of focus in key moments during the ball game. So hopefully we get back to the basics. We get back to what they were doing in summer camp and just get ready to put their best efforts out on the field. So I think blocking, tackling, clean up the penalties, making sure that we're shoring up the things on special teams, because, the kicking game, the return game, all of those things will come into play in the playoffs, and you have to be sound in those areas. So a lot of work for us to do. Not the best effort tonight, but, man, we've leaned on Elko. He's delivered. And so we've got a few weeks to get ready and get those things shored up.
Brandon, you get the last word there. The next time we see this team, it'll probably be at Kyle Field in the first playoff game in the A&M era, in the Coach Elko A&M era.
Yeah. Again, I think it's just passion, right? I think all of us are hurt because we want to win this game because we can't stand those guys. But ultimately, you asked what I think we need to turn around. I think we've got to take care of the football, man. We did such a good job in so many of those early games. Go back to South Carolina and Texas. I think it's 6 turnovers, and we haven't created a ton. It is hard to win big-time football games when you lose the turnover battle, when you give up explosive plays, and when you have too many penalties. And so ultimately, we've got to get back to being a disciplined, a physical, and an even-keel football team. And really, what the heck is going to happen if we can put 4 good quarters together and not 1 half, 3 quarters, second half? Like, we've got to play consistent for 4 quarters. And then the other thing that I think I'll say is, I know we got to lean on the run game, but we have got to utilize them. This was one of the worst secondaries we faced all year, and we did not utilize them. Throw the freaking football downfield and give these guys a shot, and clean it back up on the front on both sides of the line of scrimmage. We got a shot.
Brandon, I hate to sound like Mr. Pessimistic, but at this point, aren't you who you are? Like, you talk about playing 4 straight quarters, but I feel like this is who this A&M team is. Like, through 12 games, is they're going to give you 2, 3 quality quarters. They typically don't give you a stinker like they gave in that quarter against South Carolina and they gave today. But, like, at this point, can that actually improve?
It can. I think the hurt that they're going to feel from tonight, I think is going to motivate them. If South Carolina wasn't a big enough of a wake-up call, I promise tonight was. And these guys just got to execute, man. Getting back to Kyle Field, get some confidence, play the same half that you played against South Carolina in the second half, LSU in the second half, Missouri in the second half. We can do it. We've shown we can do it at home and on the road. We just didn't step up tonight. And yes, I think that they can change, but yeah, it would be pretty timely for us to turn that crap on come playoff time. If we could get 4 good quarters, I think we got a good shot at making a run, but not if we do like we did tonight.
Brandon, Mr. Harrington, CT, appreciate you guys. The next time we see you will be hopefully a home playoff game, if not a first-round bye, but that seems like that's probably not going to happen at this point. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Texas A&M falls 27-17 here at DKR. That's going to do it for the TexAgs post-game wrap. We really appreciate everybody watching, even you Longhorn fans. I have not been on the YouTube page at all. I am not going to be on social media for the next year unless we win a national championship. Our thanks to TKO Equipment. We'll see you next time.